Hi, Apple Biters and Appletinis. This is Les, a.k.a. Sister Slayer, here in conjunction with It Came From the Radio, and we are at the Garden State Comic Fest at Atlantic City in the Showboat. It's an amazing venue, but we saw somebody that we love, and we had to circle around and talk to him. Mr. Marty Grabstein, the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog. How are you?
Hello.
I just told Marty that I brought...
So phony. That hello was very phony. Hi, guys. Better, right? Yeah.
That's good.
No phone. We don't want any phoniness in this event here.
So he's his typical Marty self. I told him I was not going to, hit him in the mouth with the microphone this time.
By the way, folks, I just want you to know that this interview is going to be edited significantly in post. So whatever it is that you think you're seeing now, you won't be seeing when it's edited. I don't know what that means exactly, what I just said. Probably this section will be edited right here. Yeah.
Now, she'll probably keep it all in and everything. Yeah. So what have you been doing? Kind of keep us... you have been making the circuit, and I'm so happy to see you. My landlord actually had a picture of you with his daughter because she had drawn a picture of Courage, and I saw you, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's the best. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that you saw Marty, and you didn't tell me that you saw Marty. Marty, I think you were at Sewantica. Were you at the school in Long Island or something?
Right, I did the Long Island thing, right? Yes. I worked a deal with them where I came in and I just took care of the kids, and it was nice to do that, actually. Yeah, it was nice to take care of the kids. Yeah. I just want to point that out, okay? Always a good thing to do. That's the open sesame. You hope you say take care of the kids, all the doors open up for you, right? Yeah. All right.
And all those little jaded high school kids that are in there and everything, they apparently loved you, from what I understand.
Oh, that's nice. I really enjoyed that event. It was fun to do that, because, sometimes it's just, going to the high school. Listen, I'm not going there for, the sheer business aspect of going to these cons. Let's face it, you go to the cons, and a lot of this is business to a certain extent, even though I'm connecting with my fans and this and that. But when you're doing that, it is totally just for the joy of it, just for the connection with the kids. And that was really what I enjoy very much about that.
And you introduced it to some really good comic, because let's face it, we discussed this before. What's out there now is like doo-doo in comparison to this type of comedy, this type of cartoon, this kind of...
Say doo-doo?
I'm going to say doo-doo.
Doo-doo is okay because this is not on network TV. So you could say doo-doo and it's all right. Well, you could say doo-doo on network TV too, probably. Yeah, okay.
This was like typical Cartoon Network in its heyday, when it was just pure, unadulterated, good cartoons, and smart.
Right. Yeah, I think so. In answer to your question, you asked me what I'm doing. Well, besides just living life as a family man and taking care of my kids and et cetera, because after all, it's the children that's important, that I have actually started to break through. There's some more cons on the way. I'm going to be I may as well do some shameless self-promotion here. I'm going to be at the Great Philadelphia Comic-Con, April 27th through 29th. You guys too?
Yeah, we are, of course.
Very good. I'm going to be at the Florida SuperCon in July. And that's a big one, right?
That is.
I'm almost frightened of it, I'll be honest with you. And then the Raleigh, North Carolina. The Raleigh SuperCon, they call it, actually. So we got a few of those coming up. More coming down the line, but let's not go too far.
He's a traveling man.
I have nothing else to talk about.
Well, one of the things that we didn't get to talk about the last time that I had sat here with you is you and I have something a little bit in common. In my day job, I work for a wonderful organization called ADAPT Community Network, which is an organization in New York City that assists over 18,000 families and children with disabilities. And this is something that a lot of people don't know about this man. He has a child with a disability, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that, your story with that, your triumph, your struggles and your triumphs with, being a celebrity and having a child with a disability. Can you just kind of give us a little bit of a background about that?
About which part? About my kid in general? Okay, so at 3 years old, my kid, his name is Matthew, was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. We didn't know what the heck that meant. The spectrum wide spectrum, meaning to a certain extent, it remains to be seen just how bad, quote unquote, the disability will be, but we're not going to know for a while, and maybe he'll be okay, maybe, so there's always, basically you want to just basically jump off a bridge at that point when you hear that, of course. But of course you can't, because you got to take care of, business, and it's part of the world that you got to do what you got to do. So ultimately, he, sadly, pretty much more on the extremer end of the spectrum. The part you weren't wanting, we're hoping would not be the case. So a lot of pain and suffering and disappointment. Meanwhile, within the context of that, because it's sort of a very strange, yin-yang situation, upbeat, downbeat. Whereas when you rejoice, when you change your expectations and shift your expectations about what's going on, then ultimately you start to rejoice in his little victories. So little vocal, the ability to say simple words was very hard for him. And we put him into this, he was only 3 really, and we put him into this clinic called the Carbone Clinic, which was an incredible, reputable private clinic, which really specializes in very concentrated efforts to get everything you can out of these kids. Now your number one thing is you want to cure them. You want to make it go away. So you do whatever you can to make it go away. Ultimately, I credit the Carbone Clinic and our own consistency as my wife and I, Nancy, wonderful lady. And in later years, by the way, my son Daniel, who also helps very much with his brother, and is almost like we call him, he's the younger big brother to Matthew. But all of that ultimately, those first few years were the crucial years. You do what you can and hope for the best. So financially, this private thing was not covered by insurance at all, which means not covered by the insurance and not covered by the towns that we live in, which pays for his schooling, but they call it least restrictive, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so ultimately we said we don't care. So we did everything we can. We begged, borrowed, and steal. We went into our savings account. We threw benefits, where we did benefits, where I hired performers and singers and actors and comedians and raised money for him to stay in the clinic. And I did this a few times, earned money that way. But one of the ways I had to earn money, Comic-Con way, we talked about this last time. That's why I'm weaving this back. And see, it's all going to get weaved back in eventually. I'm going to save you the trouble of having to ask me too many questions. But anyway, so I had this wonderful comic book collection where I had complete runs of all the comics from Marvel Comics from the 1960s. FF, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Thor, Iron Man, Strange Tales, everything. So I basically put them all together and I said, I'm going to have to sell this stuff as part of keeping him in this clinic. Painful for me. It took me, I bought this stuff when I was an adult, by the way. This is not one of those stories where, I had it since I was a little boy. No, I bought it and spent the money as an adult over a 20-year period. So got rid of all of this. Got about $30,000 for it, which I probably would have gotten double or more if I did it on eBay slowly. But I gave it to a distributor, a vendor, a guy with a shop who has overhead, and but he gave me a very fair price considering what he.
But at that time, that's not anything that you would think about. You're thinking about taking care of your child, and so that's all. You're like, hey, I need this money to take care of my child, despite how painful it is. This is material stuff. My child is. And
I don't regret it one bit. 2 reasons I don't. Number 1, he did gain a lot from what we did, and 2. Doesn't matter if he did or he didn't. The idea is me as a human being, that I took my belongings that were just pleasurable for me, and I said, that's not important. What's important is this child's life. That's what's important. And so that makes me feel good about myself when I have moments of doubt, which we all do. No? That was a phony thing. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it wasn't phony, but look, I know he's a jokester all the time, but seriously, you could feel that. Any parent that is willing to sacrifice for their child and take up something that they earned, that they looked at, that they went through painstakingly to find something and to sell it for their child to have just any type of success, any hope in that speaks a lot about who you are as an individual. He jokes about it, you guys, but he is, deep down inside, he's a good father. He is a father that sacrifices. And this is something that I wanted you all to know about Marty, because this, what you see, this voice, this guy that's joking all the time, he has suffered some type of hardship and success with his son.
Yes.
So
I'm very proud of Matthew and where he's come, how far he's come. So I'm very moved by that. And this makes me feel very touched, even just to be talking about it like this. And yes, I joke. This is to get through the pain, and also because I know no other way. Anyway, I kind of have to do that anyway, right? But honestly, even if it wasn't that painful, I'd probably be joking anyway.
So I'm gonna make a shameless plug for Marty. One of the things that I said last time is this guy, this voice, he needs more work. We want to hear more from him. He's a beautiful guy, and we want to see more of him. I know that Courage has, there's a history with Courage. Courage, everybody knows who he is, but this is a voice that needs more work.
Yes.
And we want to see him succeed, And now you know him, you know the story behind him. We should hear that phone ringing.
That's right, and we're hoping the guilt maybe kicks in a little bit. The pain and guilt that you might be feeling by looking at this poor suffering man. To give him some work. Give him some more work.
See, oh my gosh, I can't make a plug for you to trying to get the heart of everybody, and see what he does?
I'm sorry, no, but you got the plug in, it was clean. And then I joined in and it became a separate beat. You could fix this in post too. Definitely.
Yeah, right. All right. So I'm glad to know where you're going to be. Just so that everybody remembers something, where can we find you on social media and everything like that?
And, same issue. I have a Facebook page, a fan page. So just Marty Grabstein, Courage. Pop on that. It'll direct you to where you got to go. Say hello. I will communicate back with you. You send me something, I'll say hello. Post something, show me something you want me to see, and urge me to do more work on that page too. I am working on that.
And Instagram and Twitter and all that other kind of stuff.
I am exhausted from the social media. I gotta learn how to do it. It's just it makes me crazy actually, but I have to do it.
Come on, fans, we gotta help him out with this. Okay, all right. We love you, Marty. We'll see you in Philly. And you guys, like I always say, you need to take a bite out of Marty Grabstein, the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog. We'll see you soon.